Hello everyone, myself Krishna Prasad S, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, MIT Mysore. So welcome to the Foundry Forging Lab. So today we are discussing about the foundry part. In the foundry part, foundry model 2, so preparation of sand molding with the help of the pattern. So before going to what exactly means the pattern, first we need to understand what is meant by the casting. Casting is a manufacturing process which involves melting and pouring the molten metal into the mold cavity and allowing the molten metal to get solidified in order to get the desired size and shape of the product. And the main casted products are mainly used in the automobile as well as the aircraft industry. So that's why study of casting is very much important. So the casting products can be prepared by two methods. The one it is called metallic molding, other one it is called as the sand molding. So for the academic purpose, we are completely discussing about the what exactly means by the sand molding process. So in case of the sand molding process, the steps involved in the casting process, it involves 5 steps. So first one it is called pattern making, second one it is called core making, third one it is called molding, fourth one it is called melting and pouring, and fifth one it is called cleaning and inspection. So these parts are the steps involved in the casting. First of all, we need to know what is meant by the sand molding process. So in the sand molding process, first we are going to prepare the mold cavity with the help of the cope and a drag box. Later we are going to prepare the what exactly the gating system required in order to pour the molten metal into the mold cavity. Once the after pouring the molten metal into the mold cavity, just we are taking out finished product, then it is useful for the particular purpose. But first of all, we need to understand what is meant by the pattern. So pattern, it is nothing but it is a positive replica of the mold cavity. Okay, it is a positive replica of the mold cavity. With the help of this pattern, we are going to prepare what exactly the mold cavity is required. Okay, so what are the different types of patterns are available? So the different types of patterns are available in the market. It is called single piece pattern, split piece pattern, cope and drag pattern, loose piece pattern, match plate pattern, skeleton pattern, and follow up board pattern. So in this lab, especially in the foundry model 2, we are discussing about with the help of the single piece pattern. So what is meant by the single piece pattern? So your name itself is telling the pattern, it is having only one single piece without having any joints, then it is called as a single piece pattern. And the main advantage of the single piece pattern, it is mainly used for mass production system. Okay, so and the preparation of the sand molding with the help of the single piece pattern, it is also very much easier. That's why we are going to use the single piece pattern for the preparation of sand molding with the pattern. Okay, and we all know that what are the major steps we are involved in case of the preparation of the sand molding. So in order to prepare the sand molding, initially we need to have the two boxes. The one it is called cope box, other one is called drag box. So what is meant by the drag box? The drag box means a box which is placed at the bottom position, it is called it as the drag box, and the box in the upper position it is called it as the cope box. So at the very initial step, first we need to place the drag box on the floor, then we need to keep the single piece pattern inside the drag box. Okay, so that too in the inverted position. So after that, just we place the sanding completely in the drag box. Then in order to obtain the good strength of the molding sand, we need to have the packing and ramming with the help of the sand rammer, and that packing and ramming should be neither too hard or not too soft in order to obtain the good strength. Okay, so once the packing and ramming is done on the drag box, then pattern along with the complete sand molding, we need to keep the drag box in the inverted position. Okay, that means now the single piece pattern, it is in the uppermost position. So that is in the second step. Next, after that, take the vent rod. Okay, take the vent rod and create the some of the vent holes up to the bottom position. Why we need to create the vent holes with the help of the vent rod? Because after pouring the molten metal into the mold cavity, because we are using the green sand here, so green sand means sand which contains the highest moisture content. So because of the moisture content, after pouring the molten metal, gases will be liberated. These gases should be escaped through these vent holes. Otherwise, this will going to entrap in the sand particles and it will going to make the sand defects. So that's why we need to create the vent holes with the help of the vent rod. After that, take the parting sand and pour it over the drag box in order to make the separation of cope box and the drag box at the final position. That's why we need to place the parting sand over the drag box. Later, just take the screw pin and the riser pin and is placed in the appropriate position. Okay, then place the cope box over the drag box with the help of the alignment pins. Okay, so after cope box is exactly placed in the drag box, then again fill the molding sand over the cope box. Then again, in order to get the good strength of the molding sand, packing and ramming is done with the help of the sand rammer. So remains the same here, the strength of the molding sand should not be too hard or should not be too soft. So that is the very most important thing. So after the complete filling of the cope box and the drag box, our main intention is to remove the sprue pin and the riser pin carefully. Once you remove the sprue pin and the riser pins from the cope box, then separate the cope box and the drag box. Okay, once you separated the cope box and the drag box and keep it aside, then our main intention is to cut the gating system. So what are the main things are available in the gating system? Very first one, it is called pouring basin, then sprue, runner, gate and the mold cavity. Okay, so now after cutting the gating system, just remove the single piece pattern from the drag box. Okay, so you need to carefully remove the single piece pattern from the drag box with the help of the pins. So that means you should not go in problems at the edges of the mold cavity. Okay, so in order to avoid the damages in the cope box as well as in the drag box, so during the removal of pattern from the mold cavity, should be draft allowance should be provided in the pattern. So after the removal of pattern from the mold cavity, so our next step, it is called make the alignment of cope box over the drag box. Okay, once you make the alignment of drag box or cope box over the drag box, then it is now the complete cope box and the drag box is now ready to receive the molten metal. Okay, so this is the steps involved in the model 2. Okay, so now we are moving on to the conduction of the model 2 with the sand molding with pattern. So in order to get the required strength of the molding sand, now again ramming is done with the help of the rammer over the edges as well as at the center with the help of the round rammer and the side rammer. This packing and ramming is continuous until and unless the cope box is completely filled. Now the preparation of cope box over the drag box with the runner, riser and the sprue, it is done. Now again we are creating the vent holes with the help of the vent rod in order to remove the excess amount of gas when molten metal is poured into the mold cavity. Now we are removing the riser as well as the sprue from the cope box. And separating cope box from the drag box. Now we need to create the gate runner in the drag box. Before that, the preparation of drag box without any loose sand particles, it is essential. In order to do that, trowel is used to remove loose sand particles, and finishing can be done with a slight amount of water. Now we are removing the single piece pattern from the drag box in order to get the mold cavity in the drag box. So we need to carefully remove the single piece pattern from the drag box without affecting the edges of the mold cavity. So now the mold cavity is prepared in the drag box. Now we need to do the gating system with the help of the lifter. So marking of gate, it is already done. Now we are cutting the gate with the help of the lifter as well as from the trowel. Now gate is prepared in the drag box. Now we are placing the cope box over the drag box in order to pour the molten metal into the mold cavity. Now go box is placed over the drag box with the help of the also the sprue and the runner holes. So now this complete mold box with the complete mold box of cope and drag, it is ready to receive the molten metal into the mold cavity. This is regarding to the casting or preparation of green sand with pattern. Thank you.